Okay, welcome guys. This is Imagine Engine Sessions, episode 2. We're still new in this game.
Yeah.
Me, Kwame Laryea, and we've got Nana D with us here.
Yep.
We're gonna carry on just talking about what's happening in the world, what developments are going on, etc. Yeah.
Okay,
Over
so
to you, Nans.
Quam's like episode one was after rewatching it a number of times, and I'm really like excited about Imagine Engine, and the whole thing about especially the last episode was about fire to AI. But in terms of AI, I always find that it's kind of split. There's a split. There's people like us that like love AI. We can see the possibilities and everything. But then there's some people, yeah, even like in the kind of like, creative space and stuff are completely like against it. And there's a lot of controversy around that. What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's you know what? That's a very, very good question because it it's not one way or the other. There is definitely a split, and both sides are actually right at the same time. So this is going to be an interesting one. Like, let's what I like to do is a bit of a thought experiment, which is you kind of have to keep both ideas in your head at the same time, which is tricky, because for humans in general, we kind of like to go for, we like one side or the other. But actually, this is one of those rare situations where you have to hold both ideas in your head. AI is going to be amazing. It's going to do incredible things. At the same time, it's going to completely destroy everything we know. And
Okay.
those things can be true at the same time. Okay,
Mm.
so let me just kind of put a little bit more meat on the bone so that you kind of have a
Yeah.
bit more like context.
Okay.
So I work in tech, right? So I'm in product, etc. And I have a team of developers who kind of make amazing things happen.
Yeah.
But if I really, really think about it, I know, like for sure that they're going to be disrupted, and that's me saying it in a nice way. And I'd like to say it will take you know tens of years, but as we discussed in the last episode about the speed of change,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be quicker. Yeah. So um, let me put it this way, because I think we briefly touched on this before we started the call, which is, what happens to things like developers, basically, right? So in fact, it's not just going to be developers. That before I go into that, I kind of go down to detail of that. It's not just going to be developers. It's going to be creatives, as we've already seen with things like Midjourney. It's going to be things like musicians, and it's going to be things like it's even going to reach out into the physical world, because at the moment we're talking about just like everything that happens in the knowledge economy, which is like working on computers. It's going to be things like robotics. It's going to be things like self-driving cars and trucks. Yeah, all those things are going to be touched, and when they get touched, I mean, I can't say for certain what it looks like, but people will definitely be put out of work as they know it. Okay, so that's one side of it. So the people who hate it, who are just like, this thing's gonna take our jobs, it gonna take our jobs. The people, the people who kind of that camp. As I said, they are right. They are completely right.
Mhm.
Now, let's flip the inverse of that, right? Because this is the thing. You've got the people who are building this who are just like, this is going to usher in like a whole world of creativity. It's going to usher in a whole new world of being. They're also right. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Because actually, like I think last episode I mentioned this guy, and we didn't share the link, but I'll try and show it in here later on. Yeah, Jeff Synthesize, who's this guy who's made this short movie. And when I watched it, it's not like the best movie in the world, but for what he has done with what he has, I was blown away because it sent a light bulb moment off. It was just like, oh, okay, filmmaking has now become democratized. So this is the other side of it. People who could never make films before because you had to get like red cameras, which cost like tens of grands. You have to get lights, you have to get rigs, you have to get, all of a sudden, you can sit in your room, and if you have an idea, remember what I said, you can extrude that idea out into the world, and the AI is going to help you do that extrusion. So all of a sudden, we're going to live in a world where being creative is going to become more important now than ever before. So yeah, creative fields are going to get stung because the Mid-Journeys and the whatever, then the Soras and the VOs can all just generate video and come out. But you need to have imagination to make something compelling that people want to watch.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So Kwame, sorry to cut you. And I think yeah, one thing I want clarified, it might be a little bit of a tangent, but then I'll once you've clarified, I'll then go into something that's more relevant. What is the difference between, or is there a difference between AI and generative AI?
Okay, so there's generative AI, which is large language models, which learn things of our corpus of data.
Okay.
And then they can basically, in a way, they're recreating these things, not like for like, but with they're learning the themes behind things, and they're able to generate like responses based on those themes. Okay. So this is why a lot of people are just like, okay, it's just kind of autocomplete. It's just predicting what you're going to say next.
Okay.
Then you have what people are terming AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which kind of goes beyond this, which is something that is able to make a proposal, go through that proposal, then improve upon it, and then keep doing that in a feedback cycle, much like the human brain works, where I can think to myself, I have this theory. Well, let me test it out. Well, that doesn't work. So let's make this new theory and tweak it and make it better, which is very much like how a human mind would work, how it can incrementally improve on itself with no external influence to make that happen. And I think these are the two main differences. I may be wrong, but this is the way I view it, basically.
Okay. Okay, so in terms of like, let's say, Chat GPT, what is that? Obviously, they are getting to the point of like, getting the AGI moment and stuff like that. But whether it's there or not there or whatever is one thing. Obviously, it'll be sooner rather than later. But let's say
some people think they have already.
I know. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about Google mentioning there's one guy that used to work in Google and sometime back, that whole thing. But anyway, what is that? Is Chat GPT, especially like GPT 3 to 4, is that like generative AI kind of thing? And where does the kind of scraping side of things come along from in that, in terms of like scraping?
So you're kind of you've got two different topics here, basically. Let me tackle the first one first. So so far I'd say GPT 3, 4, that's all sort of generative AI. In fact, to be honest, the current version, it's a 03, 01.
I think they got 03 or something like that.
03, 03.
I don't know if that's been released or that's on the GPT Pro plan or whatever. I
think that's on the GPT Pro plan.
Yeah.
So I think 03 is
for now.
Exactly. Yeah. I think 03 is where we start to cross over, right? Because that's no longer just strictly generative because it's got what they call train of thought, which is what I was talking about. It can make a proposal. It can actually, no, not just make a proposal. It can think through a solution. So it can go, okay, you can give it a big question, and then it's not just going to go, all right, here's the answer. It'll think through the answer and then review it, and then propose either a better answer or an amendment on that answer.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's starting to act or behave more like how humans would work through an answer to something. You know, so it instead of going, I don't know, let's see, you ask it to design. I'm really thinking on the fly here. You ask it to kind of design a layout for a house which is prone to tornadoes or something. It would go, okay, well, this is the layout for a house. But if we want to make it prone to tornadoes, and it'll be working through all this, you'll see it come up in the prompt. If we want to make it prone to tornadoes, maybe we should reinforce this area here and this area here. But then depending on the orientation of the house for where the tornadoes come from, then maybe we want to orient the house this way. And you will see within the prompt, it'll be thinking through, and then it'll come up with a proposal. Then it'll review that and then come up with another proposal.
Yeah.
Like all the way refining to try and get you to a really good answer. And for me, that is where things are starting to go like further and further towards, like, not just to be honest, it starts to go beyond human intelligence. You know,
Is that like super intelligence, right?
I would. I'm really resistant to say the word because a lot of people use it. People are throwing it around left, right, and center.
Yeah.
But I'd like to. We're heading that way. You know, the interesting thing really for me is the fact that I think up until the last, I think GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 were supposedly classed as like high schoolers in their level of thinking. And I think O3 is supposed to be classed as like a college student.
Yeah.
And once we get to like a PhD student, then all bets are off. I mean, imagine how many people have PhDs out in the world, right? Not a huge amount. Now imagine everybody has the equivalent of a PhD assistant in their pocket. Do you see things get pretty crazy? And then that it's not going to stop there. It doesn't mean we just get there and that's it. It's all over. We shut up shop. We've just stuck at that. It's going to go beyond that. And once it goes beyond that, that's where things get really scary. And this happened quickly. You know, It happened 2 years. We're here.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. The speed of change is going to come really quickly.
Okay.
And I reckon in February, we're going to hear something that will probably, make people really nervous.
Okay, well, okay. All right, let's talk about people being nervous. People have been nervous. Obviously,
Yeah.
I, as you know, I'm from the creative field, right? What does Piers Morgan always talk about? Conundrum. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. You know what I mean?
Conundrum.
Yeah, something like. Anyway, yeah. If people that watch Piers Morgan, they will know. Anyway, I don't know.
I watch a little. I don't write off Piers Morgan. I do like a little bit of Piers because I love. You know what? Just sorry to kind of derail for a second.
Yeah.
Because I actually like Piers Morgan. A lot of people don't like him, but I like him, and I'll tell you why I like him. Right. So for what I really enjoy, is because I don't always agree with him. But he's a straight talker.
Yeah.
And I like straight talking people.
I know.
And one of the things I really enjoy is and it's become a skill, is listening to people I don't agree with always and trying to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. I mean, he's
and I think a lot of people find that difficult, which has made the world a very weird place. People want to hear voices that just say the things they like and kind of that work for them. But I think it's really important. It's like a skill set, and it'll make you a Jedi if you can listen to people that you don't agree with, like, and go, okay, I don't agree with that, and this is why I don't agree with that, and have a conversation back and forth,
Yeah.
But so I love watching him because sometimes he'll say stuff, and I'm just like, I don't agree with that. But other things,
Okay.
like, yeah, you got it.
Cool. So so basically, I'm from a creative field, and I'll bring things into context. And this whole kind of like, especially with the mid journeys and the DALL-Es or OpenAI or whatever, where they've scoured the internet, scraped all this data, and even for the creatives and stuff like artwork and music and all that type of stuff. Now, this is where the controversy kind of things and people who are so kind of like dead against it and stuff, And I was in this particular situation, for example, in film, and when I do corporate videos and everything, I get voiceovers. I get, voiceover people, what I mean, to do various things. And then, what's that? And then, now you can literally create a script. Do you know what I mean? And literally like get a voice, any voice. You can even clone your own voice or clone somebody else's voice. And basically, basically the voiceover people are literally out of a job because, I mean, I'm thinking to myself, I can get exactly what I want in the tone of what I want to say what I want kind of thing in a very, very high quality. Do you know what I'm saying? And that, which basically came to like my second question, which you're going to answer hopefully, about the whole scraping thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is why people are quite pissed off because when you do art, want to do it in a like artwork, you generate some art, I want to do it in the style of this, or if it's music, I want to do it in the style of that. It's so blatant, that's part of the prompt, in a style of, so it's just like, explain to me the scraping thing and what your thoughts are in regards to the whole controversy around it, especially as a creative. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so all right, so let me just hit you with it, and it's not good.
Start with the scraping. I want to know about that.
You want to know about the scraping? Okay,
yeah,
it's not good with the scraping. It's not good, and I don't. When I say it's not good, it is in multiple ways. It's not good. It's triple plus not good because, all right, one, as all creatives. Okay, I'm going to start off this way, and it's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but it's fine. I'm going to say it first because I think they need to hear it. Yeah, I'll be perfectly blatantly honest. All creatives have been asleep at the wheel, right? They've been asleep at the wheel. Okay.
In what way, mate? I don't think.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna get up. Be like, yo, man, I've been doing my work. I've been pushing things and stuff.
Yeah.
Or I'm successful. How dare you say that I'm been sleeping on the wheel?
I'm gonna.
Mate?
I know that's what's gonna come. But right. So, listen, right. We all looked at the social media companies, the online, purveyors of content, and we felt safe in their bosom, feeling that, you know what, they are protecting us. And so we'll just feed them all our data and our content, right? And it will just be in this nice little bubble where it's nice and safe for us, right? But that's not how it works. That is not how it works, because those same people offer free services. And when you offer free services, it's like this is the thing. I learned this a long time ago. If something is free, you are the product, right? If something is free, there's no visible way of them making money off it, right? You are the product. So all this time, Spotify is free, right? Is it free? Yeah, it's free most of the time. There's the premium tier, which premium tier means basically nothing, right?
All right. Maybe not necessarily Spotify to a certain extent. Let's talk about Facebook and Instagram and stuff.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You know what I mean? YouTube, sure, they've got ads, but still, okay. Let me thoroughly blatant. Where do you think Sora learned from? What they've done is they've used the clause, right? And you see it. I mean, I'm not. I will admit this, hands up myself. I don't thoroughly read through all these
Terms of
texts, all of
conditions.
terms of conditions. I do read them. I
By the
do
way,
read them,
you know
but I
what I
don't
you know what I
read them
do?
all with a fine-tooth comb.
You know what I do? Like recently, the terms and conditions, I'll copy and paste them,
So,
put it into
but
ChatGPT, and start prompting it. do they
that's the
say
way.
do they say anything about this or that? Oh hell no. That you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? What about but what I've been asked what I've been doing recently is just
Yeah.
like, for example, one of the distributors for music. I looked at the terms and conditions and stuff because remember that lawyer. I believe you got a video of the lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And like, so I was like, oh, okay, all right. Let me just. So I grabbed the whole terms and conditions, and I'm like, are they on a distributor level for music? Are they using? Is there a clause anything where it says they're going to be using my music for training data and stuff? Do you know what I'm saying? You know, as training data to train whatever models and stuff like that. You know, and interesting enough with this particular distributor, which was quite surprising. No, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. But this is the thing. I mean, as I said, I said people are going to be inflamed. They're not going to like it. But yeah, you are the product. So all the stuff you put up there, that is the data is the product. I had a conversation with a guy about this on New Year's, and he was just like, because he was asking me what I'm doing. I'm building a product. I'm not going to go into the details, which is to help people kind of save their data in a place, right? Whatever. I'm not talking about the details.
Don't give too much away, Kwame.
I
Don't
won't
give too
give too
much
much away. Right. So we were talking about this, and he was just like, "But why? What's the point?" I'm like, "Do you not understand the value of your data?" It's just like, yeah, but I'd much rather just give it to whatever and just pay, a couple of pence here and there. And this, when he said that, it was a light bulb moment because I realized that's what everybody's been doing. That's what everybody's been doing. You know what I mean? And this is where we have supplied them with the data to train the models. So what they've done, there's a clause, yeah, where it's fair use. We use it like people use it in YouTube for kind of sharing videos, etc. We'll probably do it in this video where this podcast where we want to show something, to quote something, whatever, which is fair use. It's fair. We just kind of illustrating a point. We're not using it for their point, but they've used that clause to train data, to train their models on hundreds and hundreds of millions of hours of footage, because at the end of the day, it's in a way it's very difficult to prove that um it's being used in a particular way,
Okay.
but it is training the brain to understand how to do things.
Okay.
And this is exactly the root of why people are like, okay, right, what do we do now? But we can't do anything now. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's been trained, it's done. Saw is out there. You can try and sue them, but what are you going to get? How are you going to prove it unless you get into their servers? Some people have managed to see, because I think with some of the uh, there was a couple of models where it became really obvious that they were using, I think, ArtStation or something, because there were little kind of in fact, no, it was not even ArtStation. It was like, I think, Getty images and stock
Yeah.
images were coming up in the generations, and obviously they filtered them out now. You know what I mean?
I've even seen people's own signatures, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, in the images. Do you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I've seen people's own signatures,
Just yeah,
you know what I mean, in the images and stuff. So
yeah,
flipping obvious. But
yeah,
Qualms, I get it. You know what I mean? People have been asleep at the wheel, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. But are you saying they have got no right to be pissed off?
I'm not saying they've got no right to be pissed off. They can be pissed off. The question is, what do you do about it? Because at the same time, because what they've done is they've stolen our data. In fact, not even stolen it. We gave it to them. We gave them our data. We put it on the open web, and we're just like, this means we underestimated the value of our data. We put it out there for nothing.
Yeah.
And they've used it, and now they're selling the product back to us.
Yeah. You
So you
see,
pay your 20 euros. So you like to get your premium, whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, you do have a right to be angry. I don't know what the recourse is going to be. But what's going to happen, I tell you, I know exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be hundreds and thousands of court cases, right? That doesn't make a blind bit of difference. I'll tell you why.
Because it's done.
While those court cases are going on, because court cases don't happen overnight, they take years. They take years. And while they're taking years, these AIs will be developing. They'll be getting better and better and better and better and better at what they do. The companies that own them will be making more and more and more, millions and millions and millions. By the time it gets to a point, they will do a payout. They will do a payout, guaranteed. But the payout will be minimal compared to what they've accrued. If they've made 100 billion, the payout will be like 10 million. That's what's going to happen.
I guess it's okay. So in parallel to that, then they would have, if they haven't already, scraped everything that they needed to do to get to the point where they're using synthetic data.
Okay, there's a point where they're using synthetic data now. That I'll get synthetic data in a second, but I don't even know whether I should say this. I will say this only because I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't give it all away, but they haven't scraped all of the data yet.
Yeah. I know, but this is what exactly what I'm trying to say. It's just like, just remember I said like all those court cases, all those bits and pieces until the point that they get synthetic data and they'll be like, fuck it, we're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
But even I think they're now at a point where, to be honest, they are at a point now where they don't really need your data as much. Okay, I'll give you an example, because at the moment you've got I think Tesla has Dojo, right, which is their own platform. Nvidia also has, what is it? It's not called. It's like a training camp. It's a virtual training camp for robots. Yeah, where the robots have virtual terrains that they learn to navigate in before it actually goes into actual physical hardware. So their brains are trained in this sort of space online. So I think this is all part of the synthetic data play, which is they don't really need. They use synthetic data to kind of fine tune things now that they've got the general corpus of how things are going to go. And now they will use the various models to just generate more data to train themselves.
Okay.
So what I see is, but this is what I'm saying. As I said, I don't. They haven't got all the data. They've got a ton of data, that's for sure. They've got all of the open web, but there are still pockets, huge pockets of data which are untapped. And I think the real key is people actually starting to recognize this stuff is valuable. Let's not just give it away. Let's find a way to make this work. And I'll give you one clue. There's only one way to do that, and that's with and this is with the bastard stepchild that no one wants to talk about, but it's with crypto. It's with crypto and blockchain. That is the only way to do this. You are going to hear that coming up a lot in the next year or so, where people finally realize that, because they've been saying for ages, crypto has no purpose, blockchain has no purpose, blockchain is just a different type of database. No, it is the first time you can have an immutable ledger where what you record on it cannot be destroyed or kind of amended without it being visible to the entire world.
Okay.
So for the first time, there'll be a record. There'll be a way of, you could take your data, stick it on the blockchain, stamp it with a hash, and from that point onwards, if somebody uses your data, you can, and you see it after that part in the data in the ledger, that they took it from you.
Okay. All right.
So this is going to be a way of, I'll tell you what, it's going to be the way that people start to, it'll be on everything. This is what I see. I see that politicians, for starters, will have all their videos. If they do a live video, the day they start streaming live, it'll be recorded onto a ledger.
Yeah. Okay.
If anyone decides to take that video and then make a deep fake of it and make them say something that is not what they said, you can always refer back to the original ledger and check the original video and see that that was the original and this is what they actually said. This will start happening.
Okay, so all right, so it looks like all the kind of creators who are like laughing at crypto need to be checking out crypto and blockchain and stuff like that. Okay, Quabs, I think this is a moment, if possible. I think maybe you have a video that you may want to share.
Let me share this. I want to share this one first because I think we started the conversation with this.
Yeah.
And I didn't really double click on this deeply enough. But let me just share it because I think it's hella important because it really once I saw this, it kind of really put a bit of a fire under my ass.
AI has learned code. I mean, this is one of the things that OpenAI said that they're learning how to code their own AI.
I think this year, probably in 2025, we at Meta, as well as the other companies that are basically working on this, are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that you have at your company that can write code. And once you have that, then in the beginning it'll be really expensive to run, and then you can get it to be more efficient. And then over time we'll get to the point where a lot of the code in our apps and including the AI that we generate is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers. But
you've just heard it from Mark Zuckerberg himself, who has teams working on Llama, which is an open source large language model. And he said later on this year, didn't say next year, didn't say 5 years from now, he expects them to have a mid-level developer agent writing code for them at Meta.
And I'm like, whoa, I don't need to spend so much money on devs anymore. I can get my own little dev to do exactly the things that I wanted to do. Woo!
And that's the thing. As I said at the beginning of this call, I was just like, devs are not safe. And in fact, this remember for ages, everybody was like, learn to code. Learn to code, mate.
Python.
Yeah. If you've learned to code Python, you'll be safe, mate. In the new year, in the coming years, you'll have a job.
Kwame, I was one of those people, I was like, shit, I need to know Python. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is where I was kind of like, I'll be playing around with GPT-3 wherever at a time and stuff. And I was like, oh shit, I need to learn Python. Then GPT-4 came along and I'm like, shit, I need to learn. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do I even need to learn Python anymore? Like literally, I'll be like, look, I want to do something like this, and that. How do I do it? Okay. And then starts writing the code and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, do I need to? Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right, Nance. You're right. And so Nance, take that moment you had there. That moment you had there, I had it in 2018.
Yeah.
And I was just like, because I learned to code. I wrote code. I've built products. I built startups. It got me out of the UK. Startups that were acquired.
Living that good life.
I moved to Malta. I was living in the sun. On a holiday island. I've now moved to Portugal. I did it. But at that time, after learning to code and then having developers work, then becoming a manager, having them working for me, I then realized, oh no. Learning to code is one part of this. I need to understand the actual process of building a product and managing a product and what people want and how it works, etc. Anyway, I'm not going to get into those details, but that is probably even that area that I'm looking at, that I work in. It's not safe. It's not safe, you know. But for the meantime, you know, you've got devs that are going to be under fire, and I don't think a lot of them see it coming, you know, because they're focused on what they're doing, which is great. But this is going to come quickly. It's going to come quickly. If you've got like a mid-level engineer, and what do you get by next year? If this year you have mid-level 2025, next year, okay, maybe we have like a senior level. Okay, fine. What about the year after? What do you have? You have a senior level and multiple mid-levels, and maybe you have a CTO agent, which is just dealing with all your technical infrastructure. That could all happen even quicker than within years. I'm thinking linearly
But
here.
Kwame, aren't they just creating their own downfall?
They are. But as humans, that's what we're doing. We're creating our own. We are creating the thing that is going to replace us.
Yeah, 100. Yeah,
You know, and I think it goes back to remember the comment from Jerry Seinfeld.
yeah.
We're dumb enough to create it, to know where we need to create it. You know, but now we're in the stage where, you know, we're starting to think, wait, what if the thing we create is going to be too much? It's going to be smarter than us, and they'll make us look even dumber. You know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know,
but okay. What I'm gonna say is, but isn't a dev with the skill base of able to program stuff, even as the ability, who has already got superhuman powers, but to have the likes of a PhD level GPT that can code on a whole next level, make that dev even more dangerous, because he's got the knowledge and he's got somebody as a helper, as an agent, that's able to do certain things. So maybe his job may not necessarily be will disappear. You know, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, that's one thing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. That's literally the foreseeable future. Because what will happen is we're not going to erase all devs. You're going to have from a team of let's say if you have a team of 30 devs, you'll probably halve that, or you'll probably turn into a quarter of that. Yeah. So maybe you'll go to having, you know, you'll go to having 10 devs.
Yeah.
And then the rest will just be agents working with those devs.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I'm trying to kind of say is that it's not necessarily, obviously, it's not just based on just devs. You see, for example, me as a filmmaker, for example, you know what I mean? Like now, and I've been, as you know, I've been embracing that AI for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? And it got to the point where I'm like, well, I do film, but I do love editing, and I do love VFX and all that type of stuff a lot more. You know, if you give me shit videos, I can still make something great from it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because on the edit.
And if you give me lovely videos, I can just that just gives me so much joy. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now I have the ability to kind of like create videos like without actually having to go outside and film it, B-rolls, extend B-rolls, you know, and you know, so like literally it's like if I combine the AI side of things, the generative AI side of things with my current skills, which obviously I'm still learning and stuff like that, I feel like I've got all the Infinity Stones, mate. I do. I you know what I'm saying? I feel like
you do. You do. And this is what I was saying there, Nance. I said you have to hold both ideas in your head at the same time.
Yeah.
As I said, on one side, you're going to have dev teams cut into like half, cut to quarter, there's going to be a ton of people there that will find themselves out of a job. At the same time, people like you who maybe always kind of appreciated filmmaking and making videos and music videos or, whatever, all of a sudden you have a tool set now where you don't have to rely on a huge team of people at great expense to get things done. You can do it now.
Yeah.
And
talk about relying, man. I mean, people that know me know, you know me, I can't stand relying on people at all. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't stand waiting. And to be honest, everyone knows my story. It's just like I learned this shit because, I was tired of like waiting on silly ass producers who do you know what I'm saying?
Those people. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what obviously when I learned how to produce and stuff, the person I'm talking about.
Why do you think I learned to produce?
Oh yeah, because of that same person as well.
I learned to produce because I was just like, I am done. I'm done waiting. Like I'd have like, don't you remember? I had like tapes of like samples that I'd found, and I was just like, oh, cool, to make something out of this. Oh, just when we can get into the studio or when we can get to somebody's house where they have a little sampler and maybe they can make something. And then I just got to where I was like, I'm not waiting for this anymore, man. I had to learn to do this.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to share a video.
Go on, man.
Yeah, I like to share a video, which is kind of like it's basically by Will.i.am, and he's another person who I like. Love his. I love his musical. I love everything that done musically and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like how he has embraced AI is on a whole next level of love. You know what I'm saying? And
there are a couple of those cats, man. That I have huge. I have nothing but respect for them because I think what they've done is they've gone through. They've kind of broken the mold. They've come out of what is in hip hop genre and become
and basically it's sorry to cut you, but basically it's kind of like it's about kind of like combining those two, because whether we like it or not, it's happening, and it's been happening for a long time. It's just been sleeping, and do you know what I mean? It's one of those things that if you use it as a tool, it doesn't mean that it's gonna stop your creativity. In fact, it will definitely boost your creativity to a certain extent, but let me see if I could just find this thing and share sound, didn't it? Okay, so okay, and here we go.
Well, the disagreement, like any new intersection, is about what it's going to be versus what the fears of it to be. But in this particular conversation, as it related to like the worries and the fears of AI in the creative space, it was actually the creative admin and executives that were creating horrible deals for people around AI. It wasn't AI.
Mm-hmm.
So first on that part, it's not like AI was like, yo, we're gonna screw the actors. That wasn't AI doing that. I was like, leading with greed. They knew the technology was there, and they wanted to lead with greed and do horrible deals. That's that one discussion. At the same time, you have very disruptive technology, the most disruption that we've ever seen. The internet was pretty disruptive. Social media and apps was pretty disruptive. So if you went from like the 90s and then entered 2000s and got into websites, that was kind of disruptive. And then from websites to apps, damn, that was super disruptive. This one is like, wowzers.
Yep.
So it's like...
Yep. That's like, sorry, I just wanted to comment on that because the last bit of what he said was really, it hit me because I was in that, I've been in that path.
Same here.
I went from leaving university straight into, the the .com boom of the 2000s and the .com bust, I watched it. I was there. I was working at 365. You know what I mean? 365 Corporation.
Yeah.
That was my first proper job. You know what I mean? Like into websites, into the tech world, and obviously I've never left. You know, because since then I was like, okay, so this is the future basically for me. You know, and then I rode the wave into 2005, 2008, where the social media apps and all that sort of stuff. So I've literally been riding that wave up till now, and he is completely correct. Each time, it's so disruptive, and super disruptive. And now, I think I said this before we started the call. He says wowzers. I'm going to say beyond wowzers. I'm from some of the smartest people that I like to listen to. I think there's a window of about 2 to 3 years where you should really just kind of get your shit in order.
Yeah, 100%.
Get your shit in order, make as much money as you're gonna make, and acquire yourself some ownership of something. Because after that, the board is going to get completely sort of scrambled and reset, and I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I don't think it's going to be like chaos and Terminator or whatever. I don't think it's going to be that, because we've seen these things happen over and over again. It's never one way or the other, but it's going to be pretty dramatic, a shift of what and I think we learned from the whole COVID that the world can go like that. On a snap of a finger, you can go from one way of life to the new normal,
Did COVID accelerate this moment? Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's another topic.
That's another topic. Because you could say, because the things that the Transformer paper has been around for ages.
Yeah,
Google's had it for ages. Something happened in the last few years to really help them make these developments super quick. And I mean, the one thing COVID definitely did was it created remote work and hybrid work. That it literally changed the global workspace from everybody being in office all the time to hybrid and remote.
Because it basically illustrated that people could still work.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Nance, I just want to say this quickly, because I remember, do you remember when I used to live in Hendon? Right? I remember when I lived in Hendon, because I was trying to do my freelance thing. The dude I used to work with, because you work with him too.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time working from home, thinking to myself, I know somewhere in the future I'm going to be able to do this permanently, because the tools I was using was already there. The internet infrastructure was allowing me to do that. I could wake up, I could go to my computer, I could design what I had to design, I could send the files to the printers, they could print it, I could just chat to them over the phone, make any tweaks or whatever. I was like, I can do everything from this location here. I don't see why I ever have to be in an office ever again. Of course, from then on, I've been in and out of offices, but I always knew back then, I was just like, this is the future is going to be something like this.
I mean, that I will say, I'll even kind of go back to you in that point, because obviously you knew, like, in terms of my involvement in terms of the rollout of broadband and stuff, and you mentioned before, like, what I do was coming. There was also the other thing as well, because I also had that kind of thing of like, like with fast broadband, the internet, like, and everything, and how technology is going to be advancing, I can work from anywhere. And that's why I was always fascinated. I said, like, you know what? I want to be in Spain, in which now I've done it. Do you know what I'm saying? I've been in Spain, a different environment, nice and warm, whatever, still working, and like to the point where I'm in Dubai or other countries and anywhere in the world, just as long as I've got good internet, where most countries that I go to, I've got great internet. If they don't, then I can just go on my phone, plug the, and still work and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, okay, Kwame, so what? Yeah. I want to play another thing from Will.i.am. It's also quite relevant to I mean, I've got two more, but I want to play this first one.
All right.
And because we're going to be rapidly drawing to a close. So when we go into here.
No, going with this one because I've got a couple to share.
Of course. So yes, of course. Yeah.
Because I think
okay.
Really relevant to this. I think I even feel like we've just dipped our toe in this pod.
We have dipped our toes and stuff, and obviously we know we're always going to be coming back to this stuff,
Yeah.
So, for example,
problems of yesterday, in a traditional sense, you could create new industries. These are industry spawning tools, like the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
In the early 1900s, that was a different perspective of what music used to be. So music before then was like at church, at operas, basilicas, theaters. It was a different type of music. And then the music industry came and said, hey, we don't got that much information to put a whole goddamn song the way that you guys did the opera, so why don't we just shorten it up? And they invented what we call popular music today. The music industry did that. Radio, they invented 30 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute commercial. They invented that. Right? A song contractually is 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and 20 seconds long. A record spins around 33 RPM. The amount of information that could fit on that at the speed that it's going at 45 disc or 33 disc, right? Look at the numbers of what these discs were. I got a 45-inch coming out with, I got a 33. Like, it's speed, it's time. And here we are at canned media, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. It's all, they invented it. So in this new realm that we're in with these new tools, you're supposed to invent. You're supposed to dream up what you do with this technology, the way that they dreamt up radio, television, and the media that we have today. So you gotta use your imagination and be like, yo, that means we could do that.
This is precisely what I was saying earlier. Creativity is going to be the most important thing you'll need to have in this new landscape.
100%. 100%. It's like, and especially when he was talking about, like, they invented certain things as well, and like radio, invented the 3 minute, 20, 30, whatever. By doing that, it also changed the way, it was disruptive enough, I believe, to change the way people consumed music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That invention changed the way how people consumed music. In exactly the same way, with current social media, and this call it as is TikTok or Instagram stories. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's been disruptive enough because obviously they'll be looking at the analytics, the data, they'll be seeing the retention rate, they'll be seeing all of that type of stuff, and they'll be like, wow, so basically 15 seconds is the one. Do you know what I mean? Or 30 seconds or whatever. It's and created short form micro content and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are also just making songs even shorter for the same things. Do you know what I mean?
1 minute 30.
It's like if artists, and I always say to artists, always look at your data. It's your data. They clearly have that data on all the platforms. They clearly have data on all the platforms, but you're just looking at like the low end of it, of like, I get like so many streams and I got five likes and or whatever. But they got all this data. But if you just look at like the retention, do you know what I'm saying? So when you kind of like post let's say a 1 minute video, wherever, on your Instagram reel, and then you click on that, and then on your link in bio, it says, yeah, go and watch first of all, you post the reel as 1 minute, and then like you put a caption, yeah, link in bio, my new video's out on YouTube, whatever, link in bio. And then they always wonder, like, why is it not like move? Why am I not getting that much clicks into YouTube and stuff? It's because people feel already content with what has already been posted on their Instagram. Do you know what I mean? So like new artists and stuff, it's like, yeah, I want to make a music video. I want to spend about 10 grand. Obviously, I am a filmmaker. I love making music videos, and it hurts me to say it, but I'll be like, well, if nobody really knows you too well, you know what I mean? What's the point? What's the point of making a music video? You might as well, like, for that, you might as well spend maybe half of that budget and just create shorts, micro content, bits and pieces and stuff, because you've spent 10 grand, but people are only going to decide whether they want to watch it or not, or like it or whatever, react to it within the first 5 seconds to 15 seconds. Do you know what I'm saying? So that, if you just break it down, it's not what I'm trying to say, is that, you need to pay attention. It's kind of coming back by when you say that people, the creators have been asleep at the wheel. They have been asleep at the wheel, because whenever I ask certain creators and stuff, do you look at your data? Do you know anything much about your data? And they don't. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them do, but they don't really understand what that data means. Do you know what I mean? To a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? And this is aside from reading the terms and conditions. That's one thing. It's just like, at least, okay, they're taking your shit, but at least pay attention of your shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Not just like the cosmetic side of things. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I didn't really get much comments and stuff. Pay attention to your shit. And sorry, this is what it's coming down to, yeah? It's coming down to basically using it to your advantage. Do you know what I'm saying? If you know about this, and you look at this and you see this, you could use it to your advantage and stuff like. Sorry, Kwame, carry on.
Yeah, I just wanted to I wanted to put a point on top of that, because actually, I don't know whether I blame them so much necessarily.
Oh, you've changed your tune now, huh?
No. I'm not changing my tune. Like, just hear me out. Hear me out. Right. I'm giving them a shot.
He's flip-flopped. Sorry, Gary.
I'm giving them a shot, but trust me, I'm harsh on creators because I'm one myself. Yeah. Okay.
Same,
but first of all, part of it is that nobody ever tells you this stuff, that to the point where initially, like, you see all these creators and they always get into bad deals, right? How does that happen? It's because the problem with creators, okay, I'm generalizing here.
They just clicked accept on the terms and conditions, yeah?
Yeah, they click several terms and conditions. Even when a record label goes to them and go, here are your terms and conditions.
80-20.
Yeah. They don't read it. Oh, what is 360 deal accept?
Oh, 80-20 to, oh, that's 80-20. Oh, that means that it's on down to me. I get an 80 and they get a 20. Click accept.
Exactly. So this is the thing. Creators, creative types are really, really bad at getting good deals for themselves. They just are. Yeah. I know this about myself as a creative. I was so obsessed with the creative vision and what I'm creating that when you're in the music business or the movie business, you focus on the music. You forget there's the business part of it. You focus on the movie. You forget there's the business part of it. Yeah. And there are these sharks who have made it their life to just remember the business side of it. And they there to just kind of pull you in. Oh, you're a creative. Yes, we love you, creative types. You guys, you're geniuses. You're absolute geniuses. Come sit with us. Here, have a shot. Have some of this. Have some of that. Oh, just press accept over there.
Yeah. there's a couple of parties that we want to take you to as well, yeah. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, party. Yeah, you have to wear all white. Is that okay? Yeah. Oh, what's that room? What's that room with all the baby oil? Don't worry, don't look over there, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've got one more to play you from
All right.
Mr. Will.i.am. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a good one to play you after
Okay,
this, man. I think.
we'll do that straight after then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we talk about both of them.
But as far as things to change, you're supposed to change it all. Right now is the time for the dreamers, because you have dream materialization tools. So to try to do it the way it was yesterday, well, that's not a big dream. You're just doing it like it was yesterday. You could literally just reimagine and dream up tomorrow with today's tools. And so instead of trying to fix or solve the problems of yesterday in a traditional sense, so you could create new industries. These are industry spawning tools. Like the music industry. Mm-hmm. In the early 1900s, that was a different perspective of what music used to be.
Yeah, that, as he said, you know, it's this is industry spawning tools, basically.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing. We've got industry spawning tools that will allow us to get even more creators, because the things that we thought that we can't do, we can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can, you know? And it's like, and the stuff that was so mundane, we could get some agents to do that shit for us. Do you know what I'm saying? And the things that we thought that we can't do, we can. I'm doing some crazy shit right now, and I'm like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? Just the other day, I just did a little cartoon. And literally this guy, my boy, he was on the phone. Like this is how crazy it is. On WhatsApp, on the phone, talking to him, and he was like, yeah, like, you know, we got this, you know, this sketch artist, and then he's got some animators and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, wait, hold on. Okay, have you got a picture? Have you got a picture of this animation, or at least this a frame? Do you know what I mean? Because you're complaining about all the animator, blah blah blah, and I just like, okay, but it wasn't the right kind of like dimensions and stuff. So I just went on Photoshop or Midjourney, whatever, and then I just kind of did a generative extender and stuff like that, but made it 9:16, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And then I showed it to him. It's like, oh shit, wow, okay, great. And then I put it into like Runway. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
And then I just created a visual and everything with it and stuff, and made this animation come alive. And then and I showed it to him. He was like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't talking yet and stuff. It was for a music video. So then I went again, and then like literally I said, okay, can you just play your song with your rapping on it? Play it, yeah? And he played it from his side, so it's coming out from my speaker. And then I went on to my thing, and I was just using my mouth, yeah, as like, I didn't know what the hell he was saying, but I was just like, but I knew his cadences, right? And it was tracking me. Do you know what I'm saying? And then it basically had tracked my information on my mouth into the video that I generated. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And within like a couple of minutes, and I sent it to him, and like literally, yeah, within like, let's say 10, 15 minutes, from the beginning when he told me to send me the thing, bits and pieces, and I'm like, there's your animated thing. And he was just like, wow. Combining those tools, bro, makes your creativity. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, I can do crazy shit. By the way, Kwame, I know you got you want to play.
And as I said, Nance, this is the worst is going to be.
Yeah, 100%.
The worst is going to be. But just because like this is actually a really good way of illustrating exactly this is the power that is coming.
I'm going to try using AI to song. I typed in sad dark pop song, big synths, bass, and harmonies, trap and EDM style. This is already doing the inspiration. Get stems, filter the sound. It's perfect. Lot of harmonies. Let's try generating that again. I just created a version an octave higher. I'm gonna add reverb. I just reversed it here. Apply that. Now I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna do. I have an idea. I need to get it done now. Hard drums full of texture. These are like such iconic drums. Let's just make a wub by taking an envelope and mapping it to the cutoff. I am going to layer this up with the sine wave. So good.
That to me is the definition of super intelligence. For me.
I tell you, when
combining those tools, yeah,
has taken all those tools and is literally allowed. Think of, I'm telling you that as well. I'm telling you, when I watched that, I was just my mouth was here because it was just like an 8-year-old, and this is what's going to happen, and this is exactly what I was saying. This is what's going to happen because the youths are the first ones to figure out how to use the new tech.
100%.
And
100%.
they will create so much new stuff. They will change the landscape.
Okay. 100%, 100%. Which basically, unfortunately, it comes to an end of this episode. Kwame, do you want to take it over?
I'm telling you, I think that was really quite a good way to end this off. Because actually, I feel like even though we started off about, how controversial, people are going to lose their jobs and all that stuff, I think it really ends on kind of an optimistic note, because for me, it's this is as I said, you have to hold both ideas in your head at the same time. There is going to be some real earth-shattering changes that are going to happen, but at the root of it all, you have to stay creative. And I actually think what this is going to do is going to free humans up to be more creative.
Yeah,
it's going to free us up to more creative. The youths are going to be they're going to enjoy this wave coming for them.
Yeah, and it's always been about the youths, because in creativity with the youths and bits and pieces, don't get me wrong, us old codgers still could be creative. But anyway, but that's the thing. It's kind of like, if you're open to emerging technologies, do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of going back to what we were talking about before, the evolution. We only started with hip hop and stuff, and how people were creative and innovative, and innovation brought creativity. Do you know what I'm saying? But our parents or people older than that says, that hippity hop stuff, that shit will never, that's not even real music. Like rock and roll is like real music and stuff. That it will turn that crap off. Do you know what I'm saying? It's exactly the same thing. And it was the youth. It was the youth of that time. Do you know what I mean? So you can become extinct, and to be honest, the level of extinction, is more drastic if you don't pay attention at this particular stage. Do you know what I'm saying? Then, it's still drastic, and you and I know some people that are literally just getting used to, or just signed up on Facebook or Instagram and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And they just got to that point, and they're like, whoa, like, you're so behind, but it's one of those things that you've got to have an open mind, because if you're creative, if you are a real creative, you work with what you've got. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. You work with what you've got. You know, you can mold it in the way that inspires you to do the things that you do. You do not want to be that dad or mum or that granddad or whatever by just complaining and say, this is not real shit. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, because whether you like it or not, your kids will be doing this stuff and they'll be taking it even onto a whole next level. So anyway, it's coming.
Yeah. I think, that's this. It's on the way. I mean, there are people already kind of going, oh, this AI slop or whatever. But as I said, there will be lots of AI slop, but the ones who are creative, it will become like magic. They will do amazing things, and there'll be genre bending, genre changing things that will be created, and so people will create. I mean, that 8-year-old, I want to know what he's doing in another 8 years. Another 8 years from now, he'll be playing arenas. He'll be you wait. He'll be playing arenas to like tens of thousands of people at 16 with tunes that he's made. Because already he's got me head bopping.
Yeah.
He's got me head bopping.
I mean, but
God, I'm just like,
you know, I think he'll be playing to different, not our traditional arenas, different types of arenas. I'll leave you with that thought.
I'll let you have that, man. I'll let you have that.
All right, episode 2. My name is Alec D.
I'm Kwame, Laryea. Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do the thing below. I don't know, whatever. As I said, I'm not gonna beg you to smash whatever. Just go below, press some buttons. Show us you appreciate. Write some text to some other person in the chat below, comment, whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Till next time.